Okay. Welcome to the City of Indian Rocks Beach City Commission meeting. This is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for a few moments of silence. Thank you. Lauren, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Commissioner Hausberg. Here. Vice Mayor Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Commissioner King.
Here.
Commissioner Bigelow.
Present.
Commissioner Rao.
Very here.
Thank you. First, we'll start with the report of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, Council. I'm Sergeant Mann, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. I'm assigned to our B-Nights for all the cities of the beaches. I do understand that you guys have received a copy of the July report. I also
Yes.
have the August report that has came out. I'm not sure if you're able to review that. With that being said, is there anything specific that you would like me to touch on or elaborate?
Does the commission have any questions?
Not me.
Looks like a pretty quiet August.
Yep, I will add that our deputies are enforcing our traffic, especially over the Labor Day weekend. We'll be conducting extra beach patrols and traffic enforcement, a total of 212 traffic stops, just 125 directed patrols, which consist of the beach and making sure that everything is in order.
Would this be an appropriate time to ask you about a specific incident?
I don't, if you give me the incident, I can look it up, sir.
Okay, yeah. There was a collision between a car and a palm tree at 7th Avenue and Gulf Boulevard about 2 months ago. Drew was out there digging around today to fix the replacement.
Okay, I can look it up.
Yeah, I'd just be curious what happened with that, because it's, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, I can take a look at it, get back with you on it. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the report of the Pinellas Sun Coast Fire and Rescue.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Todd Bess. I'm the Deputy Chief with Pinellas Sun Coast Fire and Rescue. Chief Grimes sends his regards, his apologies that he couldn't make it tonight, but I'm here on his behalf, which is good. District-wide, all three fire stations, Pinellas Sun Coast Fire and Rescue, ran 304 calls throughout the district and through automatic aid in Pinellas County, including 8 structure fires, 2 gunshot trauma calls that resulted in 2 trauma alerts, 3 cardiac arrests, 1 drowning, and 7 water rescues. Specifically in Indian Rocks, we ran 52 calls total, 2 structures, one of which was a working structure fire at the Holiday Inn right here on the corner, the 299 2nd Street Holiday Inn Resort. The sprinkler system contained that fire, but did result in significant water damage that we helped control. We also had 4 water rescues in Indian Rocks Beach, which resulted in 1 trauma alert air transport. That's all we have, except for the city summit coming up. You've all been invited. It's going to be September 18th at 100 in this room. Chief Grimes will be hosting. I will give an emergency management presentation. Just give you a quick overview of our department, our plans for the future, and our emergency planning, and try to build relationships between all of the areas that we serve and improve communications.
And what time is that?
That's 0900
Okay,
on the 18th in this room.
okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah. I want to see it for anybody. Okay, so of the 4 water rescues, there was 1 trauma.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me about that?
That was an individual who suffered a neck injury, shallow water, and had to be air transported. He was a very big disease.
So, not a drowning, or?
No, it was a water rescue. Drownings and water rescues are generally categorized differently, but they're not always exclusive.
Yeah, it's I guess not.
So if we're dispatched like a missing swimmer or something, that may, as a water rescue, evolve into a drowning. Where we find the missing swimmer. Usually we find them on land, usually they SO finds them on land way down the beach before we find them.
Were
They're
there any,
walking.
were there any aquatic fatalities?
No, not in the district, actually, I stand corrected, the individual who's trauma alerted, maybe one had taken a fatality.
And that was a child?
No, that was an adult. We did have one pediatric drowning in Indian Shores within our district, that did have a positive outcome.
That's a, if there's a positive outcome to a drowning, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's.
And you said there were 2 gunshots?
Yes, sir. One was on the unincorporated area of our district, on the Pinellas County side, and that was pretty wide in the news. I don't know if we should really talk about it in a public forum, but it was a domestic dispute. And the other one was a self-inflicted accidental gunshot injury.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll move on to public comment, 3-minute time limit per speaker. Any member of the audience may come forward, give their name and address, and state any comment or concern that they may have regarding any matter over which the City Commission has control, excluding agenda items. All statements made to the City Commission shall be made to the City Commission as a whole, not directed to any individual City Commission member, and no personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks shall be permitted. No speaker shall be interrupted, and no debate shall occur between the speaker and the City Commission. Who has to comment this evening? Hi, Beth.
Beth Flynn, 914 Harbor House Drive. I just have a couple updates that I'm kind of directing to the commission to see if you guys want to help volunteer a couple of things. The first thing is on Saturday, September 6th, Action 2000 and Keep Mills Beautiful completed the replanting of the butterfly garden. So when you go over and look at our reopened facilities, you'll see enhanced butterfly garden. In addition, October 11th is Oktoberfest from 12 to 6 at Cole Park, and then we still have volunteer positions open. From a Friends of Indian Rocks Beach Library perspective, September is library sign-up month, so if you don't have a library card, please sign up. Even though we don't have a physical library, we do have access to Libby, Canopy, as well as a Largo library. The Friends of Indian Rocks Beach Library are excited to host Story Time for Friends on October 15th at 11 a.m. at Cole Park in the gazebo. It's the first time we'll be doing this event in the Friends of IRB Library. It's obviously geared to younger children because it's during the day during school time. We're still waiting on the plans for the library. I heard Dan making a couple comments before the session started. We're waiting for the shelving. We're working with Lee, who's our city librarian, and the city to prep for the library for opening, and we're hoping to encourage more people to join the Friends of Indian Rocks Beach Library. It's not going to be a small undertaking to get that library back open. And we will be opening probably with, a very limited content, since a lot of our content is damaged. It's almost been a year since the leave. I'm not sure if we're all keeping track or not. It's in our heads probably. I still see a lot of homes that aren't opened, grass that's growing up around doorways that people haven't gone in yet. We have people who, things are sitting empty, so a little concerned about things that are sitting empty. We did have, near our residence, we did have someone that was squatting in an empty facility. I'm not sure what we're doing to monitor those properties. I don't want to make an onus on the owners, but it's almost a year and we really need to be careful about what's left out there and left undeveloped. I'm also concerned that we're losing part of our charm, as some people haven't been able to rebuild their homes because of their older homes, and some of the stone cottages have gone, some of our cottages have gone. So whatever we can do to help people who still have their homes standing, to keep them in that small town vibe that we have would be great. And I'm also not sure how many people are still not coming back or are still waiting for their permits. Just concerned about where we're going to head as a city when we think of some of our small town charm and a lot of the development that's being done. It's in line with our codes, but this doesn't look the way we probably want it to look as you drive up and down Gulf Boulevard and even in the avenues and side streets. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Anyone else?
is Cicerek. I live at 448 Harbor Drive South. And over the last decade, I've been very interested in the resilience of our electrical grid. And I've been a skeptic of undergrounding, and I've been sort of vocal about that. Some state meetings for the power for the state level, the Utilities Commission. And I've always been concerned about the connections of the transformers. And in a solar environment like we have here in Indian Rocks Beach, if you get 4 foot of water on the board, like we don't have to imagine it anymore because it actually happened last year, I've always been concerned about those connectors on the transformers. And, you know, over the years, as those connection materials break down in the solar and the heat environment, will they hold up? So now that we've had the first phase of Gulf Boulevard undergrounding complete for several years, I wonder if there's any lessons, any takeaways that we might have learned from that project. I don't know how those transformers held up, but I would love to have someone from Duke Energy talk to us about anything that they've learned from Hurricane Helene or other storms, and whether or not there's any steps that they can take to improve the resilience. I understand that they're going to come in and put transformers up to, you know, further up Gulf Boulevard, maybe up to around 16th or so. So I'm just wondering if there's anything they can do. For instance, you know, they only have like concrete slabs that are about 3 inches tall, so maybe they could put them on a 1 foot concrete slab, or maybe they've made some improvements to the connectors where they feed their line into the transformers. But anything that they've learned or that they can do better for us a year on, I think it would be worth us looking into. I'd rather keep those nice concrete holes that they have all the length of Indian Rocks Beach and have the buckets up top, the bucket style transformers up on top of the poles, honestly. But if we do have to put them on the ground, anything that we can do to improve the resilience of those transformers might save our butts in the next storm and get us back online in days instead of weeks. So if there's anything that we can do to get involved with Duke to have them improve that project, let's do it now while they're getting ready to install the rest of our project for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Anyone else? Hey, Don.
Don House, 2104 Beach Trail. So last month, you know, we had public comments, and then we had agenda items. And during the agenda items, no public comment was asked for. At the end of the meeting, I went to our city commission attorney and asked them, there was no comment. Had we changed the rules that you don't take public comment on agenda items? And he said that you had asked for it at the beginning of the meeting. I questioned that. So I listened intently to what he said tonight, and he said, did say anything excluding agenda items. And I'm pretty sure he said that last month, but no comment was taken on agenda items. We don't get paid to come here. Y'all do, but we don't. And we come here because we care about the city. And I think it's disrespectful not to listen to the petty things that we might say. One commissioner, when I brought it up, said, well, Don, do you really think it would make any difference? That doesn't matter. You owe us the respect of listening to our legal opinions. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Anyone else have a comment?
People's opinions.
Hey, John.
Good evening, John Fansfield, 448 Harbor Drive South. Just very briefly, if I had a public forum, I ought to say about how pleased and I've been with Dan's performance over the years. I respect everything he's done. He's made things so clear, and it's going to be very sorry to see him go. If you have a party for it, make sure you let me invite me to that one. I appreciate it. So anyways, again, thanks. and for all you've done.
Thank you. Any other public comment this evening? I'm closing the public comment. Move on to the reports of the city attorney.
I have no report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the report of the city manager.
Sorry, wasn't ready. Good evening. Good evening. Gosh, some of the stuff that I was going to talk about has already come up, but maybe I can elaborate a little bit and add on to that. So, selfishly, as your finance director, primarily I'll want to remind the commission and everyone that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in this room, we have our first reading of the millage and the budget for fiscal 25-26. Secondly, I'd like to just reiterate that we put out a press release. I think we used all of our new tools to get the word out, but we did move in city employees into City Hall on Thursday and Friday of last week. That continued over the weekend with code, and as previously mentioned, the library began on Monday. And while we don't have the shelves yet, we got a lot of the books, and the librarian's going through that to see what made it for almost a year that we had it in air-conditioned storage. And, you know, fingers crossed that more than not, a lot of those books did survive and were reusable. There is lots of help with the libraries getting from volunteers to Friends of the Library. And that'll be a work in progress, but, you know, I think we will open as we can what we have with the library, and there'll be more to come on that, and we'll continue to update the public and the commission on that. So I encourage anybody that hasn't, certainly can come on down and see City Hall. It's, you know, it's the old footprint, but with a much nicer paint job, and I think most of the employees are certainly happy, and we appreciate, I want to thank the commission for their support while we've been out of the building and getting us back in, but also certainly thank Dean and his staff and all the other employees for their, you know, toughness to kind of hang in there and work. It's been a long year, but we're getting kind of back to whatever normal is. Third, I'd like to also, I think this already came up, but Hollow Fest is the city's event, and that is on October 25th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That'll be at Cole Park, like it always is. Pretty similar to years past. Most all staff is on hand that day. It's kind of geared for the children, but also the parents, you know, with the snow cones and the pumpkins and the petting zoo and the train rides and all that good stuff. So the information about that is on the city's website. Again, October 25th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. right out in front of City Hall in Cole Park. I think we also have some presence usually from the Sheriff's Department and the Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue. So, you know, kudos to the staff that's putting that together. We did not have it last year, obviously, based on the timing. You know, it was 30 days after the hurricane. So, and then of course Oktoberfest, one of A2K's big events they do each year. We've got an information page on the city's website for that. That is October 11th from 12 to 6 at Cole Park. And if, you know, that gave some opportunity to who to call, but I think on our website with that, if you wanted to help out with A2K and Oktoberfest, that's also available on there. And then a couple projects that we, you know, let's call them high profile projects that I think it's worthy of just kind of talking about. The beach re-nourishment project is I guess already underway, and I apologize. Dean's not here to give you you know, you're kind of stuck with me, giving you the rendition I got from Dean. Dean probably would have been here if his health was a little better. He's been under the weather, but we're slated for the October to December piece of that project, so we're getting close, and we'll obviously provide more information as best we can to get the word out that, you know, those crews will be out there re-nourishing the beach. That's going to be obviously a high-profile project. that the county's doing. I think we're all familiar with that going all the way from Sankey down to Paso Grill. Secondly, the grant that was given to us by the state of Florida for the aqua fence, which is similar to what, not similar, it's the same company, same idea as what's at Tampa General. Literally, the day we got true appropriation from that, July 1st, Dean's been working with the contractor and the state of Florida, and we're in the survey and design phase right now. That's kind of coming to a wrap in the next couple weeks. And then I think what you'll see is there has to be a little bit of infrastructure done around City Hall to accommodate the fence, you know, where there's grass, for example, on the south side of City Hall. As we talked about before, unfortunately, the news, we did a little story about City Hall opening up, talked about that as well. That aqua fence will not be completed by the manufacturer and installed for this hurricane season. So I want everybody to make sure they understand that. Don't get me wrong, that would have been fantastic. It just wasn't logistically feasible with the appropriation not coming until July 1st. But it is going, and it certainly will be here and ready to go for next year's hurricane season. And then finally, another project that was brought up a little bit, the underground utility project along Gulf Boulevard. Let me read what Dean gave me, which is better than probably what I can fumble through. The city has completed our portion of the underground infrastructure, and that's the 16th Avenue North. This was phase 2. Remember, phase 1 went from all the way on the south end where we started Indian Shores and ended at Walsall now. Duke Energy needs to now inspect a few locations in the field, and then we'll be able to schedule their crews to start the project. As of now, they tentatively are targeting start date in November with segment construction process through phase 1, 2, and 3. That's probably a little technical even for me. Bottom line is the city's contractor, and I think we all knew what was going on when one of the contractors went through the sewer line and then also the gas line, which was unfortunate, but we got through that. So the undergrounding piece is there. Duke handles the actual removal of the above ground lines and the putting that underground. So that's the last part, and that's, you know, let's see if I got Dean. I mean, Dean knows when I'm trying to pin him down on when that'll start, but they haven't given a firm time. So again, more to come from us on that. And I got to be honest with you, it's been a while since we did phase 1, because remember our portion, which is, you know, almost a $5.6 million project on our end, comes 100% from penny for Pinellas dollars, which is that 7-cent penny tax, and you know, that supplemental penny money that comes to just beach communities through the efforts of the Big C in Pinellas County. So phase 1 was done, and it cost about $4 million, and I got to be honest with you, I just don't remember what it was like when they pulled down the lines. But you know, all the easements are there. You wind up, instead of lines, it goes underground, you have transformer box in certain places. So certainly there'll be some disruption along the boulevard as they pull down lines and put them under. And we'll get the word out as best we can so folks know that's what's coming and that's what's going on. And then, I think that's really it, just unless the commission has any questions for me.
Well, I guess in October, when we start this beach nourishment, are we going to alert people to like move their chairs and move their, especially where they've taken over giant pieces of land and claimed it as their private beach club?
Yes, I've met with Kelly Levy a couple times. I think you were with me.
Yep.
This is a county project, and I don't have the specifics to go into right now about, you know, who can put stuff where and how far, and it does vary, but, you know, certainly the county will facilitate, you know, removing people's stuff if it's in an area that is part of that project.
Okay.
So yeah, when we get to that. You know, I guess this is a good time. We talked about, and we had this probably come up at public comment, or we've gotten an email about it. We'll probably get a little bit more aggressive with removing stuff left on the beach overnight as a code enforcement function post-turtle season. That it's a little bit more challenging in turtle season because, you know, to drive the city's truck down the beach and have the guys throw it in for the people that left their tents and the chairs. But, you know, we've done that in the past. We try and get the word out, you know, you're not allowed to leave stuff overnight, you know, but we typically aren't as aggressive during the summer months because, we have to coordinate that with the turtle effort, and it's just a lot more challenging. So that would be probably part of that as well. So that kind of flows into that same conversation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And I'm looking at Jude, and I want to make sure Jude knows he brought this
I
up.
saw this.
And I don't want to, this is probably a highlight for tomorrow when you listen to me talk about the budget a little bit. We are still going to talk about parking, paid parking on next month's meeting. And I believe we've sent out the stuff, the information sheet that Dean and Greg, myself to some extent put together the last time we looked at paid parking. And I know some of you weren't on the commission then, so I believe we got all that out to everyone at Jude's request. So I would just encourage you to review through that. It's the information on what's done currently with paid parking from here all the way down to south of the Don Cesar, who charges what, where, who they use to monitor the parking, what service like Park Mobile and the other one, rates, how many spots we have, all that kind of good stuff. So that's still slated for the October meeting to at least have that discussion and probably try and generate some consensus or direction out of the commission to go back and then bring forward what the commission would ultimately like to see for paid parking. So,
Thank you, Dan.
yeah, no problem. And not to embarrass you, but
I
will a
I
little
saw
bit.
this too.
we could not find a skimpy bathing suit ordinance on the books that we could
It
remove.
used to be
So,
there.
trust me,
I'm sure
I only second you, Jude,
I
wanted
was
that to be the
baffled when
highlight
I
of the
saw
agenda
it.
tonight, but
It used to be
the
on the books.
clerk and the attorney, very adept at what they do, could
I
not
don't know,
find
Matt,
that.
did
so.
you really dig deep on this one?
Anyways,
I left that up to the clerk.
thank you.
That's not fair.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions of Dan? Nope, no questions for Dan. Well, let's move on to the reports of the city commission. John, do you have anything this evening?
No, I don't have anything to add tonight.
And Jude,
Nope.
Vice Mayor?
I attended the Florida League of Cities conference, and I believe they were available over here if you didn't get them with your agenda, but I did a recap of some of the, what I thought were the most important events that I attended. One of the things that's come out of it is we will be getting a specialized to us packet of information on what it would cost us and what it would take away from us if some of the Florida taxation proposals that are going to be big in the legislature this year. So I'll have the information to be able to come out to like Rotary and some of those groups and show you exactly what it means to our city and why we can't let some of these things happen. Also, I was excited to be reappointed to the Development Code Compliance and Redevelopment Policy Committee. Our first meeting is September 26th, and I will report back from those meetings.
Thank you. Hillary, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Okay. Well, I was going to talk about beach nourishment as we found out about the Big C meeting, but Dan already took my line, so I guess I don't have anything to discuss either.
Did you see the boats up there?
What?
Did you see the boats down south?
Yes.
I just,
Yeah, it's underway in Indian Shores. The equipment's there. I'm not sure if they're fully started yet, but it's underway. But yeah, October, it'll be busy here. Thank you. So let's see, do we have any additions or deletions? No. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Matt, can you read, please?
Yes, the consent agenda, we have the approval of the August 12th, 2025 special city council meeting minutes, the approval of the August 12th, 2025 regular city council commission meeting minutes, an authorization of the city manager to sign a one-year renewal agreement with Public Risk Management, PRM, of Florida, for property casualty and workers' compensation and flood coverages for this next fiscal year, 2025 through 2026. Rescheduling of the March 10th, 2026 regular city commission meeting to Wednesday, March 25th, 2026 due to Indian Arts Beach general election. Rescheduling the November 11th, 2025 regular city commission meeting to Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 due to Veterans Day.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as read.
In a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to the public hearings. Matt, can you read?
Sure. First, the first item we have is a quasi-judicial proceeding. So I'll remind the commission that in a quasi-judicial proceeding, rather than legislative, is you're not creating the law in these, you're applying the law to the ordinances we have in place to the facts in these matters. And I would ask that anybody intending to testify, please stand and raise your right hand to take an oath. Do we have anybody that's going to testify to this? All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury?
I
All right. And I will pass this one on to city clerk.
So on August 15th, Noah Reed submitted an alcohol beverage license for 2 copies. That's to have beer and wine by the drink or sealed containers for consumption on or off the premises for sold. Mr. Reed's actually just taking it over what's already there. He's actually going to be doing the same beverage designation that's already there. We did a review of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, maintained with their records management on Noah Reed, and revealed no offenses. So that going forward, the planning consultant approved it already with your approval. She's approving it as well. That's it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Just need to do public comment. Okay, let's open it up for public comment.
John Thayer, 1819 Bay Boulevard, IRB. Been going to Groupers pretty much since it's open. They've been a great asset to the community, and I urge you to continue letting them be an asset to the community. I know Noah personally. They'll do a great job there. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a comment on this topic? No, I'm closing the public comment. And then do we need to vote?
Yes, please.
Okay.
First motion, second motion.
Would you like, would anyone make
I'll
a?
make the motion to approve the
All right.
2-comp license. 2-comp, right?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to, this is item 7A, which is under other legislative matters. So this is first reading of resolution number 2025-10, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Indian Arts Beach, Florida, calling for a general election for the purpose of electing at-large qualified candidates to fill the vacancies of the mayor, commissioner seat, and 2 city commissioner seats for 2-year terms, establishing a candidate qualifying period, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections, establishing a polling place for the March 10th, 2026 election, authorizing the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections to verify candidate petition cards and facilitate the election. This is a public hearing, so I'd ask that you take comment.
Does anyone like to make a comment? I'm closing the public comment. Could I have a motion for approving the resolution?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-10, calling for a general election on March 10th, 2026.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Moving on to other business. Approval of employment agreement for Ryan Henderson as city manager, presented by city attorney Matthew Maggard.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioner. I was tasked with negotiating an agreement with Ryan Henderson, who is eager and excited to come on board as the next city manager of the city of Indian Rocks Beach. As part of our negotiations, we went back and forth on a few items. Ultimately, what is being presented to you, it was, I guess, essentially the last counter offer back from Mr. Henderson, which you've all seen the agreement, I believe, and it's in the packet. But the key points is he's requesting a salary of $182,000. He's requesting contribution by the city of up to 15% towards his retirement. Those are kind of the two key changes. And I know I've spoken to several of you individually, so I know there may be some discussion on the agreement, so I would ask that you take public comment, and then after that we'll have discussion amongst the council.
I'd like to open it up for public comment. If anyone has anything to say?
Don House, 21 Fort Beach Trail. I don't think you can do this tonight. This is a result of a agenda item from last month's meeting that you did not take public comment on, so therefore you shouldn't be entered into negotiating on the contract. So you really got to go back to square one. Not everything, but you're going to have to call, you're going to have another meeting, you're going to have to public notice it, you're going to have to say you're going to do this, and then open that up for public comment, and then you can do this. It's not going to make any difference, except that it's done the right way. Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment? Then we need to vote, correct, Warren? Vote on the approval of. Yes, please. Okay.
Well, we need discussion amongst commission, if any.
We're supposed to talk about it.
All right, does anybody have any questions about the compensation package that was negotiated for Ryan Henderson?
I do have a comment. So we offered $175,000. I understand he's looking for a higher salary. I don't know that we put that in our job posting, that there's a range. I know that was one of the things that Ken had recommended that we do, but we opted not to do that. I'm a little bit concerned about that, just given, whatever the precedent is, and considering what the pay scale is for other cities in our type of city, the size and the number of services that we have. It is pretty high to be at 182. But I think my bigger concern is, I think it was a 15% contribution to his 401. I think that sets a really unfortunate precedent, and it's not great relative to the other employees who are getting something quite a bit less than that. So that's my input onto that. I'm definitely not in favor of that 15%. I prefer to see the salary where we put it, but I think Matt may have some comment on that too.
Yeah, so, go ahead.
Is there a cap on that 15%?
It would,
15% up to a certain amount?
I don't believe so. I don't know what the plan calls for. What was negotiated was 15% based on the.
I I just mean, because often in that sort of calculation, it's like, you can contribute this much, up to this much, we'll match you or whatever.
Well, this wasn't a match, it's just a straight
It's a
contribution.
15%. Oh, so it's a total 15% off over the top, it's not a match?
It's not a match, it's a 15% contribution.
That's good to know.
Right, that's what's being requested. I will say that going back and forth, I think it was interpreted by Mr. Henderson that 175 was an offer that he felt he could make a counter offer to. And that started at 187, we ended up at 182. Understanding that that wasn't a commitment, that's just what I told him, that he wants me to present that to the commission, that's what I'll present. The prior city manager had, I think, a 10% contribution. I know that Commissioner King expressed to me one-on-one a little concern about the 15%, which is, I concur, is a high contribution amount for retirement. I've spoken to Mr. Henderson about it and about the pay, and his explanation to me is he was trying to get to a similar compensation package to where he was at in Texas, with a combination of salary and retirement. He feels more strongly about the compensation at 182 and is flexible on the contribution of the retirement. I think he would be fine at 10% contribution, which is what the prior city manager had.
And what do most city employees get?
All city employees get 10%
Okay.
employer or city contribution into their 401A plan, it's an IRS sponsored plan.
Awesome.
And there's also the option of a 457 plan for all employees, including the city manager, for them to contribute their own money into that tax deferred. That's called a 457B, I believe.
457B.
What you folks are talking about right now is the employer contribution plan. And our current plan document calls for, 10% for all employees, for all salary and wages, if you will.
I mean, I think it's from a leadership position, one should take that, but that's my opinion.
I got something to add. We're at 182 right now, when we had 175 cap. I originally wanted to go 150 to 160, and then that could be negotiated up. I got overruled on that. 15% contribution, that's where you want to be at. I think we ought to go back to them and see if they'll take 12. As far as getting him the 182 and the 15, something's got to be negotiable there. I know we already wanted to pay higher, but we're at 182 with them right now. Should offer them 12% instead of 15. That's what I got to contribute. Thank you.
What do you think, Vice Mayor?
I'm looking at some of the other compensations. Can you speak to how they, like the car allowance and the relocation, how they match up to what we paid previously? Because to me, they seem fairly low.
They are low. They were presented at the same as what we offered. We in the city offered Mr. Mills back when he was hired 12 years ago, and he was fine with that. The more focus was like the salary and the benefits, trying to get to a range. I mean, there was lots of other discussions about health insurance coverage and 457B contributions, but ultimately, working with Dan, we ruled out some of the possibilities of some of those things, and ultimately it is, okay, this was the counter offer back was reducing it to 182 and doing 15%. I think the 182, you know, since I'm the one that negotiated with him, I just going off my sense of talking to him, I think the 182 is more important than 15. So I think if you had a motion to accept it with the change of 182 and 12, I think we could do that tonight if that was a motion approved. I think it would be accepted. Obviously, we'd have to send it back to him to be sure, but based on our conversations with him as early as 3:30 this afternoon, I believe it would be accepted.
I think when you consider that the others are low, I think, I look at it as a total compensation packet, and I think that would be fine.
I think philosophically, though, it may be of value to tack the retirement contribution to the same scale that everybody else in the city receives it, and even if that means we throw another $5,000 into it, or give him another $150 a month for his car, whatever. But I think, again, philosophically, it may be important, or at least of some value, to not elevate the contribution, the city's contribution to his retirement beyond what they would for any other employee.
I would agree with that.
The other
Like,
thing-
sounds good.
The other thing too I wanted to add is,
Which is 10%, I believe.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Anna, Texas was a much bigger city than Indian Rocks Beach. I believe it was 16,000 people, I believe. So that has a lot to do with pay. The bigger the city, the more money you make. The smaller the city, not as much.
Sounds like Spinal Tap.
But I do believe that he also had 2 assistant city managers there.
Yeah, he had a big staff, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't speak for that, I just know that that was the explanation I got for why he counted those certain things. And I understood what he was trying to say, is he was just trying to get it closer, he understands that it would be exactly the same. But what I need is a motion with exactly what is going to be changed in the proposed contract, a second vote to move forward.
I'll make a motion that the only change we make to it is the employer contribution to 10%, keeping everything else the same, compensation and benefits.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, the next is I need a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jen.
And a second, please.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Denise.
Alrighty, that was
It was a party night.